Namo. Thank you for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The first mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by the destruction of life, I vow to cultivate compassion and learn ways to protect the lives of people, animals, plants, and minerals. I'm determined not to kill, not to let others kill, and not to condone any act of killing in the world, in my thinking, or in my way of life. For our Dharma lessons, we're reading Ajahn Munindo's book, Unexpected Freedom. Today we're beginning a chapter on meeting our anger, beginning with Dhammapada verse 14. As rain cannot penetrate a well-thatched roof, so the passions cannot invade a well-trained heart. The passion of anger is something that most of us are tripped up by, at least from time to time. For some of us, it is a source of major struggle in our lives. It is useful to acknowledge that it is only when we have some degree of calmness, some perspective of coolness, that we are in position to effectively reflect on such matters. When we are all fired up with passion of whatever sort, we simply don't have the perspective or the clarity. Of course, we are capable of some sort of thinking under such circumstances, but such thinking is likely to be driven in conditioned ways, desperate to find an escape from the pain of being caught up. Whether it is by anger, lust, or fear, we can be driven in narrow, habitual directions in order to release ourselves from the agitation of being possessed. Let's take this opportunity to reflect on the nature of these passions. Reconsidering the enemy. In late 1987, a hurricane raged across south of England and France. Millions of trees were uprooted. In the forest belonging to our monastery at Chithurst, about 1/3 of the oak trees were brought down. It was a sad sight, one that caused everyone to feel disheartened. Yet, a mere 5 years later, the woods were welcomingly beautiful again, more open and brighter than before. Not only that, but here at Harnham, we have benefited from the hurricane in that we have this lovely solid oak floor in our meditation hall. The hurricane gives me an image of what tends to happen when we are faced with things we don't like. We readily perceive such things as the enemy and tend to see them as evidence of something going wrong. Because we follow this initial perception, we don't give ourselves the opportunity to reconsider our assessment. The result is that we behave in ways that can have serious and often tragic consequences. Nature can teach us to develop wisdom by encouraging us to reflect on our habitual initial reactions that make us feel threatened and judgmental. When we are feeling hurt or threatened by circumstances, we can easily react in short-sighted ways. Our untrained and untamed passionate nature is such that when anger arises, we get caught up in it and misperceive situations. This wild energy, if not wisely contained, moves us to want to cause harm and to hurt others. We may recall the Buddha's words. When we hold fast to such thoughts as, they abused me, mistreated me, molested me, robbed me, we keep hatred alive. The heat comes up from our bellies so that the anger can possess our hearts and then goes all the way up into our heads. If we are heedless, anger starts coming out through our mouth or through our limbs, or it can whirl around our heads and drive us crazy with ideas and fantasies. All this can go on until the energy has been spent. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Namo Adida Phat. Thanks so much for joining me today.